This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. This gentleman that's joining us now has worked for many, many years in helping people overcome addiction, but specifically working with families when it comes to addiction. But here's the difference. He looks at it through a different lens. It's almost like and this term is used a lot, but I think it fits here, a 360 approach. When you're working with somebody and a family member, you want to support them. However, you got to make sure you're on point as well, and also that they're taking care of themselves even through the addiction. Where does that lead us to? Proper nutrition, emotional regulation, and so much more. We're going to talk about that today, and learned a lot every time we get together with him, and also, the impact that addiction has on families. Jeff Jones from FamilyRecoverySolution.com joins us. How you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing really well. It's great to follow up and have another conversation, Steve. Thanks.
I love your approach. It's something that many of us don't realize. And if you are a family member trying to support somebody that has an addiction issue, many times, correct me if I'm wrong on this, we get into the weeds. We get deep into the trenches. We're not seeing everything that's going on. We might not even see that we're not taking care of ourselves. They're not taking care of themselves. And, fundamentally, there's going to be challenges there. There's going to be a lot of challenges. And that's one of the things that you do focus on, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. There will be challenges. I mean, one thing I want families to know is this isn't their fault because classically it's like we just see that the individual has a problem and the solution seems to be to poke them and prod them to get them to accept help, and then the family can go back to normal. And that's the biggest myth, that if the family goes back to normal, then they inadvertently, kind of create the same environment or conditions in the family, specifically their relationships, their interactions. And family members, once they grasp this, they have control over their end of the relationship, their behaviors, their communication, what they think, say, do.
When it comes to, broadly, I'm going to put this, taking care of ourselves, and I'd love to get some advice, what you suggest if you're a family member trying to help somebody with their addiction. The things that you suggest, would they also apply to the person that's going through the addiction?
Oh, of course. Yes.
Okay. Where do we start?
Well, I mean, where I start is just, encouraging people to recognize that this problem has been in the culture for quite a long time, and the dynamic of that one person has the problem, and once they accept help, then that's the solution. That dynamic has been in the culture for a long time, and it's easy to believe that because that's reinforced. All the focus is on that one person getting help, and so many of the services available are just for that one person and minimize family impact and family education about what I'm talking about here.
So on the health level, and I mean that physically, spiritually, mentally, what are some things that you would suggest that we be mindful of?
Well, first, just being aware of what's happening in one's own body when they are in the relationship with their loved one. Are they sleeping at night? What's the activation level of their nervous system? And can they calm their nervous system themselves, or do they need help with that? And in some ways, if that doesn't change, everything after that is going to come from an activated nervous system. So the person is not going to be able to stand up to addiction as well as their nervous system, kind of finding calm in the storm.
How do you
Kind of.
know the state of your nervous system?
That is a really, really good question. I mean, one could be, you know, um, can you calm yourself after being activated, like after an interaction that's intense with your loved one? Can can you go out for a walk for 30 minutes and without focusing on every little thing that just happened? Like, is that possible or not? Because when we focus on every little thing that just happened and see what happened through the lens of the glass is half empty, we reinforce that in our thinking. We reinforce that in every cell of our body.
Mm,
So, mentally, physically, spiritually, and, the spiritual part of it here is super important in that, when family members can really embrace the concept that they cannot control their loved one, the very best thing they can do is control their own ability to embrace their growth. And they didn't sign up for that growth. They
mm,
they didn't sign up for it. So, many family members are going to say, wait a minute, this guy Jeff, he's talking about change, and I didn't do anything wrong. So why do I need to change? And it's like family members need to change because they are going to be in a much better position to have their brain working well to be able
mm.
to navigate the chaos of addiction.
Would you say that sometimes it takes a major event in our lives
Yes.
to been there, done that? Not addiction, but been there, done that, and it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a relationship situation, whether it's a health scare, whatever it is. Where I call it the rock in the pond, where the universe has thrown a rock in the pond, the ripples go out.
Yeah.
Now you have to deal with it. And that's where the transformation, the change takes place. So in this situation, now you're confronted with a family member who is addicted. And now you got to get your act together. I mean that in a very, very loving way, in terms of how you look at things emotionally, how you take care of yourself. Dare I say this is the stuff you should be doing anyway, but now you're forced to really, pay
Yeah.
attention.
And I think being able to talk to people that get it and
Mm,
not talk to people that use negative, shaming language that is going to make them feel worse. And,
right.
just telling people what to do is not the long-term solution because even if that's helpful one time, but then they don't comprehend that. They don't really understand what's happening inside of themselves to where they can, make their best decision regardless of what's happening. And they don't have the support systems to be able to do that. It's going to be up and down and up and down, and addiction's going to be leading the show.
Mm,
And optimally, when family members really grasp that they have a lot of power to make change with inside of themselves, they can be leading the show. But it's like they need support in order to do this. And it it could be like tiny changes together is what's going to be helpful long term. Because our brain has, done the same thing over and over together, and it's the I think it was B.J. Fogg who, came up with the slogan, neurons that fire together, wire together, meaning when we do a behavior over and over again, it's easy for that behavior to occur. And when we do a defensive behavior over and over again, or a enabling old patterns that reinforce addiction behavior over and over again, it's going to be so much easier
Mm.
just to repeat that unless they create deliberate daily changes to help them rewire how their brain works.
I just got the visual of a dirt road, and there's a lot of debris on the road, and it's rough and everything. But if you keep traveling down that road, it starts getting smoothed out. And that, if you're going from point A to point B, almost seems that way with the neural pathways in our brains, where, having traveled down that road maybe once, not a lot, and the more you do it, it's easier to travel down that road, i.e.,
Right.
forming better habits. Jeff, what do you think? And everybody's different, I get it, but what do you think are some of the main things when it comes to our emotional regulation or our physical health? What do you think are the top few things that we ignore? We need to, pay more attention to, no matter what it is. What do you think?
Yeah, so some very actionable steps that anybody can do right now is to incorporate 3 new self-care practices every morning
Mm.
that helps us set our thinking, our mindset in a positive place to start our day. And so the list is huge there. So for some people, it could be meditation for 10 or 30 minutes. For other people, it could be walking up on the mesa behind the house and watching the sunrise. For someone else, it could be sitting on the couch and reading some devotionals or an important book to them, or just having the cat on their lap and breathing while they're petting the cat. And so all of these things, when they're done consciously, not just, quick to get them over with, but deliberate attention, conscious focus on what they're doing, they are going to, that's going to contribute to rewiring their brain. And then in the evening, having 3 self-care practices that help their body rest.
Mm.
And I mean, there's a lot of them, like not scrolling through our phone and then thinking we can just set it down and go to sleep, like have an hour without, the electronic screen, and maybe just read an actual book.
Hmm.
Y-
Or
You
or an
know,
audiobook. I'm going to say if you listen to it on your phone, but
oh,
then put your phone down and just put headphones or
yeah,
earbuds in. Don't be
I
scrolling while
am
you're
a
doing it.
I am a big fan of audiobooks.
I just started really digging into it. I found an app, Blinkist, and it takes well-known books, many of them. And I'm all about self-help. I don't really read, a lot of fiction and stuff like that. And it takes the full book and gives you the 20-minute read using AI. And it just the voice
Oh,
gives you
wow.
everything, and it's like, and you can follow along if you want to look at the copy. But what you're saying is it's so I've done it, so and I do
Basic.
it. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny, the cat thing. Every night I'm on the couch, or I've been trying to be on the couch. Even after a long day, it could be late. That's my me time. And my cat, Rocco, comes up. He's the sweetest, loving cat ever. Sometimes a little too much.
Yeah.
He wants to get in my face and drool on me. You know, it's all right. But scientifically proven that there is healing in the vibration of the cat purring. It's
Yeah.
sending a certain signal out. They want to feel it, and we heal from feeling it as well. It's not just an animal next to you. There's
Yeah.
way more going on there. Same thing with every day, if you can, weather permitting, go out and see a sunrise. It's not well, it's a great way to start the day. No, there's more going on there. You're in
Yeah.
nature. You're grounded. It's that fresh start feeling. So much, there's more going on here, is what I'm saying, than what we may think or we may minimalize, right?
So to reinforce what you just said, there's a concept that I know through my work with Dr. Stephen Porges, and the concept is co-regulation. And so the person in the family with the calmest nervous system,
Hmm.
that nervous system, other people in the family can use the calm nervous system to set their own nervous system. Very similar to what you were just saying about your cat, Rocco.
Yep.
Calm nervous system. When we're in an environment of calm nervous systems, it's easier for us to calm our own nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots more than meets the eye. We might minimalize it, even writing down things. You know, if you write in a journal, I have a gratitude journal. I write in it every morning, or try to do it every morning. I have a regular journal. Got to get a little bit better, but I'm going to be honest with you. Jeff, I wrote in my journal this morning. Then there was something I needed to write that was on my mind, and I needed to do a
Yeah.
word vomit. Just dump it on the
Yeah.
page. And it just feels better. It's like you can be your own therapist. You can, the
Oh my
body,
gosh.
right?
Yes. Yes. I love what you're saying, and I know the journaling thing, and I do this and talk about it with clients. The journaling thing in the evening, the gratitude journal, when we go to sleep thinking of gratitudes, what that does for our night's sleep.
Mm. And also being grateful for the things that challenge you. I know it's not
Yes.
easy, but
Yes.
if you look at the wins there, it's like that was horrible what I had to go through. But looking back at it, okay, I'm grateful I did, because if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened, and that wouldn't have happened to move my life forward. But I never saw it when I was in the thick of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that, just being able to calm oneself is the beginning to a whole
Mm,
pathway that I have when I work with families
sure.
and coach them. And, the part of it, like when they can calm their body, they're in a much better position to have new conversations where they can change from having a reaction to having a response, and being able to acknowledge that they have choice in their relationship
Mm.
with their addicted family member.
Well, when you're not taking care of yourself, even right down to hydrating properly, you can't think with clarity and make decisions. And you feel like you're in a tornado because you're always catching up. I don't know what it is. Well, maybe you didn't drink enough. Maybe you didn't sleep enough. Maybe you're not eating the right things. Maybe you didn't have enough carbs. Some of us, eat
Yeah,
a lot of protein, but maybe you're not used to not having a lot of carbs. I've been there before. I'm like, I'd eat, three meatballs for lunch, didn't even think of it. And I'm like, I'm dragging. I can't even think. Oh, there's no carbs in my body for, 8 hours. Maybe that's what it
yeah,
is. Yeah. So many of these
yeah.
different things that you help people understand, realize, and it can be a game changer, right?
Yeah, I mean, when people are able to recognize that when they are in the addiction storm, that they're making decisions from the activated fight flight kind of place.
Mm,
And, the majority of blood flow in the brain is going to the amygdala, the fire alarm thing.
mm.
Whereas when they're calm, the majority blood flow goes to the prefrontal cortex, where we can make our best decisions, where we can see the whole context, where we can nuance our communication to have greater influence on our addicted family member.
And oh, guess what? That's scientifically proven. Everything we're talking about here, it's not just, some woo stuff that, Jeff made up. This is all years backed by science. Love the way you look at things to support families. You never hear about this stuff. More of it's worrying about enabling the other person, and other 12-step things. Okay, that's important too. But this stuff is, I'm going to say, almost or just as important, because you can't function properly. And then that's also for the person that, if you're a family member supporting the person that's addicted, these suggestions apply as well, as best they can during the addiction journey, because they're going to be in a better place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Steve. Thank you.
Took a long time for me to figure this stuff out, Jeff, and that's
you're not alone.
And that's with help from people like you and Insight, and we're all on journeys. If we figure it out, you're gonna learn a little bit more every day. I'm going to share this before we wrap. You talk about flight, fright, freeze. Those three different F words that describe our emotional regulation. Heard another one recently to put into the mix, and it's fawn.
Yeah. Fawn is all the people-pleasing kind of stuff.
Right? Yeah. And that's another state that you can be in to, I guess, hide from what is presented to you. So let me just help you, and let me help you. You're running from you a lot of times when you go down the people-pleasing road. Maybe I learned that from you. I don't know. How do we connect with you, Jeff? What's the best way?
So my website is thefamilyrecoverysolution.com. And on that page it's like a work with me thing. You can click on that and scroll down. You can make an appointment with me.
Start the conversation. If you're being challenged from an addiction situation in your family, this is your specialty, working with families as well, because that's where a lot of the support is coming from. And we have to make sure we're supported as those family members. Thank you so much for being here today and putting the microscope on this. So important. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
We'll talk.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.